how to manage this exposure using money market tools. Which means lending, borrowing, domestic foreign currencies, and conversion in the spot market. So let's think about what I need. I need 100,000 euros in my account 1 year from now. Since forwards and futures may not be available or advantageous, how do I make sure to have that amount in my account? So how do you think? I want to guarantee that I'm going to have 100,000 euros in my account 1 year from now. And I'm eliminating forwards and futures as possible means of doing that. So what do you think I can do? Think of it this way. Suppose you promise to sell somebody a Porsche 1 year from now. How can you make sure that you have the Porsche to sell? To guarantee. You're going to buy the Porsche right now and keep it, right? So you need to buy euros and I'm going to call it store right now. Of course, unlike a Porsche, if a Porsche sits in a storage place, let's assume it's vacuum storage, nothing will happen to the Porsche. You're not going to have depreciation, or you're not going to have Porsche having a baby Porsche. But money is not like that. Since money has a return or a yield, we don't even have to buy 100,000 euros now. Suppose I can get 3%, let's call it 3.5% on my euro deposits. I need to buy now present value of that 100,000 divided by 1 plus 3.5%. So if I bought 96,618 euros and some change, 1 year from now, that's going to be 100,000 euros. If Euro USD equals, and let's find out what that is today. $105.96. Let's call it 106. This means I need, come on, dollars, times that much. Remember, euro-dollar exchange rate is value of €1 in dollar terms. So I need to have $102,415 and some change. I may already have this money, or I need to borrow it. But even if I have that money as cash, I'm effectively paying for the opportunity cost. If I already have 102,000 and some change, if I use that money to buy those euros, I'm not investing it somewhere else. You know, what's the safer investment? Put it in a bank. Hence, yield on USD, say that's 5% in 1 year is the cost of borrowing. So 1 year from now, I have to pay that amount times 1 plus 5%, 107,536, right? Hence, effective cost of money market hedge is effectively I'm going to spend that much money 1 year from now for 100,000 euros. Of course, you know, there's a digit to it. Oh, 754. That's the effective cost of my money market hedge. You know, if forward is available to me, I should compare it with that. Because here I'm going to have essentially, again, a counterparty risk. But that counterparty is the bank that I'm depositing those euros in. Okay? I could choose that to be any bank. If I took almost 100,000 euro to any bank in Europe or to any bank in the US, tell them I want to deposit that with you, who's going to say no? Okay? They're going to gladly take your money. So in that sense, you can choose who your counterparty is. Money market hedge also carries counterparty risk, but is more manageable. And, in a sense, diversifiable. Just like we have FDIC insurance, there is insurance against depositors in favor of depositors in Europe as well. You could basically take that money and deposit it into 20 different banks that are all insured. Or you could deposit it in very reliable top banks. Example, HSBC, Deutsche Bank, not Credit Suisse these days, but UBS maybe, or some other Spanish banks, Banco Santander, which is one of the bigger ones. Or you can deposit it as a foreign currency account in a US firm as well. So managing the counterparty risk is a lot easier, and it probably is not as high if you use the money market hedge compared to a forward hedge. But if the transaction requires you to borrow money, then you will be using essentially business lines. If you were euro 100,000 long, money market hedge would have in-mold borrowing some euro and converting them to dollar at the spot market, and depositing those dollars in a bank for a year. So if I go to my bank that I'm working with and say, can I please borrow some euros? And the amount that I need to borrow is going to be pretty much the same, assuming the rate is 3.5%. So I'm going to have to borrow 96,618. They're going to say, sure, but each bank gives you a certain amount of credit line, okay? You're going to basically eat off of that line. So that actually has a business cost that may or may not be easily quantifiable, but you are eating off of that business line, okay? I'm going to stop here for today. On Wednesday, we're going to talk about options hedge, how to use the options on foreign currency to manage the transaction exposure. Since it's somewhat involved, I don't want to do it in just 10-15 minutes. We'll just get started on the options and go with the rest. All right, guys? I'll see you guys on Wednesday.